Onto this story now. Show some heart to homeless animals during the month of love. That's a plea by the Mzananda Animal Clinic in Khayelitsha. Their hashtag Be My Valentine campaign features dogs and cats that are in need of adoption and sponsoring. To tell us all about their campaign, I'm joined by Laura Murray, a vet at the clinic. Thank you very much for your time. Tell me more about this campaign, what you're trying to get from people, and basically your plea from the clinic.
So the idea is really quite simple. The idea is that instead of spending money this year on Valentine's gifts and flowers and chocolates, maybe this year you can spend that money on sponsoring one of our furry friends at Mzananda, namely one of our very special homeless pets who we think are deserving of some extra love this year.
And with most of your pets, how do they become homeless? Where do you guys usually find the pets?
It's a combination of things. So sometimes we do have a Good Samaritan drop off a homeless animal at the clinic that they realize is homeless and roaming the streets, or maybe they notice a dog has been neglected, so they bring it in. It might also be a case of, and certainly we have seen it a lot this year, especially during the COVID pandemic, that owners simply cannot afford to look after their dogs, and they do feel the kindest thing is to bring them in. So that is something that is unfortunately happening very often this year.
So because of how often it's happening, how many animals are we talking about that are homeless?
Oh goodness, it's so difficult to estimate. I mean, at the moment, so we have a very small stray program compared to other organizations, and we have 20 at the moment, so we're almost at maximum capacity, but certainly there are hundreds and hundreds of them that are looking for a loving home.
All right, tell me exactly what it is that people can do. Is it adopting a dog? How much money will it cost, etc.? I saw that there's 50 Rand to sponsor, for instance, maybe for the dog to get their paws checked. What exactly can people do?
Yeah. Okay, so the idea is this. You can hop onto our Facebook page or our website, and then this is the most difficult part. You can choose, in terms of choosing your Valentine. So you can go through our dogs that are up for adoption and choose who's going to be your Valentine this year, so who's going to pull at your heartstrings the most. Once you've decided on that little kitty or dog, you then can pop onto our Facebook page and then decide what exactly you'd like to do for that dog. So the idea in this campaign is to sponsor a gift for them, per se. So, for example, for 50 Rand, you can sponsor tick and flea treatment for that dog. And obviously that's going to make that dog a whole lot more comfortable, but it can also be a lifesaver for those dogs. For example, we suffer so much in terms of tick and fleas causing tick bite fever in Khayelitsha and really the whole of our country. So that is really, really important. Then for 100 Rand, you can vaccinate that dog or cat, which obviously is also incredibly important in terms of protecting against infectious diseases. For example, in Khayelitsha at the moment, we really are suffering from a distemper and parvo outbreak. So really, really important. Then thirdly, for 200 Rand, you can sponsor food for that dog or cat for 2 weeks. Then if you're willing to spend a little bit more, for 450 Rand, that's some delicious meals for a month for that dog or cat. And then finally, you can spend 500 Rand, and then that will cover a sterilization for that dog or cat.
Now, when you talk about adoption, just very quickly, is it just adopting the dog physically, as in am I going to be the owner of the dog, and what's the process there? Do you need to come to my house to check if the dog will be safe, or is it just adopting the dog to be able to just sponsor them to get vaccinated or their paws checked or the ticks coming out?
So certainly for this Valentine's Day campaign, we are asking for you to sponsor them in terms of these gifts. So this isn't an adoption as such, with those different amounts that you're willing to spend. So that's specifically the dog would stay in our program, and then you would be sponsoring those certain things. But then if you are wanting to adopt a dog, that is certainly a route that you can take, and that is something that we are always asking members of the public to do if they have the capacity.
All right. Thank you so much. All the best to all the animals that you will be helping out, and hopefully the public also comes on board. That was Laura Murray from the Mzananda Animal Clinic in Khayelitsha.